War Commander Zethkar stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at the crystal formations that held his entire fleet prisoner. His officers were reporting system failures across all ships, and worse, similar reports were coming in from hegemony, bases across the galaxy. "Sir," his communications officer said with a shaking voice, "we're receiving surrender requests from 17 different sectors. Our forces are reporting that the planets themselves are fighting back." Maya listened too, the conversation through the communication link, feeling the fear in Zethkar's voice. Through the crystal network, she could sense terraforms on distant worlds, all connected, all working together for the first time in their species' long history. "Zethkar," Maya said calmly, "the terraforms are offering you one last chance. Leave this system, return to your home worlds, and stop conquering other species. In exchange, they'll let your people go and won't pursue you." "The hegemony does not surrender to rock creatures," Zethkar snarled, but Maya could hear the doubt in his voice. Boulder made a sound like sadness. The creature touched the crystal, and Maya felt the decision flowing through the network. The terraforms had tried to be merciful, but Zethkar wouldn't listen to reason. "Then you've made your choice," Maya said. What happened next was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. On every world where terraforms existed, the crystal networks activated simultaneously. The sleeping giants of the galaxy awakened as one. Their combined power focused on a single goal: stopping the hegemony forever. Hegemony warships found their weapons, turning against them as crystal growths took control of their systems. Bases on conquered worlds lost power as terraforms emerged from underground and reclaimed the planets. Mining operations stopped working as the ground itself refused to give up its treasures. "Impossible," Zethkar whispered. "How can rocks coordinate? Across the entire galaxy? They're not just rocks," Maya explained. "They're connected to the fundamental forces of every world they inhabit. They can communicate through space itself, using gravitational waves and quantum entanglement. They've been connected for millions of years. They just never had a reason to work together before." Dr. Chong was monitoring the Galactic Communications Network, watching in amazement as reports flooded in from across hegemony space. "Maya, it's incredible. The terraforms aren't destroying anything. They're just taking control, making the hegemony's weapons useless." Through the crystal network, Maya could feel the vast intelligence of the Galactic Terraform Collective. They had spent eons learning about the universe, understanding physics and chemistry and biology on levels the humans could barely imagine. They had watched species rise and fall, seen empires come and go. They had always chosen peace until now. "The hegemony has 1 hour to begin withdrawing from all conquered worlds," Maya announced. "Any species that was enslaved must be freed. Any planet that was stripped of resources must be abandoned and allowed to heal." "You cannot dictate terms to the hegemony," Zethkar shouted. "We're not dictating anything," Maya replied. "We're just telling you what's going to happen. The terraforms have already started liberating your conquered worlds. Your choice is whether you want to cooperate or be forced out." Boulder made a sound like gentle insistence. The creature was still trying to find a peaceful solution, even after everything the hegemony had done. "The terraforms don't want to hurt you," Maya added. "They just want you to stop hurting others. If you agree to their terms, they'll even help you find new ways to get the resources you need, ways that don't involve destroying planets or enslaving people." For a long moment, there was silence on the communication channel. Maya could imagine Zethkar weighing his options. His empire was crumbling around him, taken apart by creatures he had dismissed as rock monsters. His fleets were captured. His bases were powerless, and his conquered worlds were slipping away. Finally, Zethkar spoke. His voice was bitter, but defeated. What are your terms?" Maya looked at Boulder, who made a sound like hope mixed with caution. Through the network, she felt the collective response of thousands of terraforms. They wanted peace, but they also wanted guarantees. Complete withdrawal from all conquered worlds within one galactic standard year, Maya said. Freedom for all. Enslaved species. Reparations for the worlds you've damaged in the form of technology and resources to help them heal. And in return, the terraforms will help you find uninhabited worlds rich in the resources you need. They'll show you how to extract materials without destroying ecosystems. They'll even share some of their crystal technology, which is far more efficient than anything you currently use. Zethkar was quiet for another long moment. And if we refuse? Maya felt the power of the galactic network flowing around her. Thousands of worlds, millions of terraforms, all connected and all committed to protecting the innocent species of the galaxy. Then the rocks will teach you what it means to fight against planets themselves, Maya said simply. The silence stretched on. Maya could feel the tension through the crystal network as terraforms across the galaxy waited for Zethkar's decision. Finally, the war commander spoke. The hegemony ... accepts your terms. The relief that flowed through the crystal network was overwhelming. Maya felt tears running down her cheeks as she experienced the joy of countless terraforms across the galaxy. They had won without having to destroy their enemies. They had found a path to peace. Wise choice, Maya said. The terraforms will monitor your compliance, but they won't interfere in your internal affairs as long as you stick to the agreement. The crystal formations holding the hegemony ships began to release them. The vessels floated free, their systems returning to normal operation. But Maya noticed that small crystal growths remained attached to each ship, the terraforms' way of keeping an eye on their former enemies. Commander Zethkar, Maya added, the terraforms want you to know that this doesn't have to be the end. If your people prove they can be trusted, they might be willing to share more of their knowledge. The terraforms have learned things about the universe that could benefit everyone. Perhaps, Zethkar said quietly, we have much to ... reconsider. The hegemony fleet began to withdraw, moving slowly away from the planet. Maya watched them go, feeling a mixture of relief and sadness. The immediate crisis was over, but she knew the real work was just beginning. Maya, Captain Morrison said, what happens now? Maya looked at Boulder, who was making soft sounds of contentment. The creature was happy that the fighting was over. But Maya could sense something else in its voice, excitement about the future. Now we build something new, Maya said. The terraforms have been isolated for millions of years, each world keeping to itself. But they're connected now, working together. And they want to work with us too. Dr. Chong was already planning new research projects. The scientific possibilities are incredible. We could learn so much from them about planetary sciences, crystal, technology, even space travel. And they can learn from us, Maya added. Humans bring something the terraforms have never had, the ability to move between worlds easily, to build spaceships and explore the galaxy. Together, we could create something amazing. Boulder made a sound like agreement and anticipation. Through the crystal network, Maya could feel other terraforms across the galaxy expressing interest in meeting humans, in learning about their technology and culture. It won't be easy, Commander Peters warned. There will be other empires like the hegemony, other threats. Then we'll face them together, Maya said. Humans and terraforms, protecting each other and any other species that needs help. Boulder touched the crystal next to Maya, and she felt a new sensation through the network. It was an invitation, not just from Boulder, but from terraforms across the galaxy. They were offering humanity a place in their vast, ancient civilization. They want us to be part of their family, Maya said, wonder in her voice. All of humanity, Welcomed into the Galactic Terraform Network. Jake smiled. I think Earth is going to be very interested in that offer. As the days passed, ships began arriving from Earth, bringing scientists and diplomats and engineers eager to learn from their new allies. The planet that had once seemed like just another resource to exploit became the center of a new kind of civilization. Maya often sat with Boulder in the crystal fields, watching the ships come and go. The creature had grown larger and brighter. Since connecting with the galactic network, and its intelligence seemed to expand daily. You saved more than just your world, Maya told Boulder one evening as they watched the sunset. You saved everyone. All the species the hegemony would have conquered. All the worlds they would have destroyed. Boulder made a sound like humble gratitude. But Maya could feel through their connection that the creature didn't see itself as a hero. To Boulder, it had simply done what any friend would do, protected the people it cared about. Thank you, Maya said, putting her hand on Boulder's rocky surface. For trusting me, for teaching me, for showing me that friendship can exist between any two beings, no matter how different they seem. Boulder's response vibrated through the crystal network and across the galaxy, carrying a simple message that every terraform and every human could understand. Friends always protect friends. The galaxy would never be the same. The age of conquest and destruction was ending. Maya stood in the middle of the crystal field, her hands pressed against the largest formation. Boulder had taught her how to connect with the planet's network, and now she could feel the thoughts and emotions of thousands of terraforms across the world. They were afraid. They were angry. But most of all, they were determined to protect their home. The hour is almost up, Captain Norrison said, checking his watch. Zethkar will start the bombardment soon. Maya kept her hands on the crystal, feeling the vibrations of the terraform conversation flowing through the ground. They were making plans, sharing ideas, preparing for a battle unlike anything they had ever faced. Boulder, Maya said, your people are brave, but they don't understand space warfare. The hegemony has weapons that can destroy the entire planet. Boulder made a sound like understanding. The creature had been learning about human technology, and it knew how dangerous the ships above them were. What if we worked together? Maya asked. Humans and terraforms, combining our knowledge? Boulder's eyes lit up. The creature touched the crystal next to Maya's hands, and suddenly she could feel the entire planet's network opening to her. It was overwhelming. Thousands of minds all connected, all sharing their thoughts and feelings. Maya, Dr. Chong shouted. Your brain activity is spiking. You need to disconnect. But Maya didn't want to disconnect. Through the network, she could see the planet as the terraforms saw it. Every crystal, every energy flow, every connection between living rock and living world. It was beautiful and terrifying and wonderful all at once. I'm okay, Maya said. I can handle it. Boulder, show your people what I know about the hegemony ships. Maya focused on sharing her memories, the ship designs, the weapon systems, the tactical information Dr. Chong had gathered. She felt the knowledge flowing through the network, reaching every terraform on the planet. The response was immediate. The terraforms began to understand what they were facing. But instead of becoming more afraid, they became more determined. Maya, look at this, Dr. Chong said, pointing at her scanner. The energy patterns are changing. The terraforms are doing something new. Through the network, Maya could feel the planet's children working together like never before. They were connecting crystals that had never been connected, creating new pathways for energy to flow. They were turning the entire planet into a single massive machine. What kind of machine? Commander Peters asked. Maya listened to the vibrations. In the ground, a shield. They're going to create a planetary shield using the crystal network. Can they do that? Jake asked. I don't know. They've never tried anything this big before. Above them, The hegemony ships were powering up there. Weapons. The hour was up, and Zethkar was making good on his threat. All ships, prepare for planetary bombardment, came the transmission. Target all crystal formations. We will melt this rock and take what we need from the cooling slag. Maya felt Boulder tense beside her. The creature made a sound like a mountain, crying out in pain. Through the network, she could feel the distress of every terraform on the planet. They're going to fire, Jake said. Everyone get to the shuttle. We need to get off planet now. No, Maya said. We stay. If Boulder's people are going to fight, we fight with them. Maya, be reasonable, Ryan said. We can't help them against a space fleet. Yes, we can. I have an idea, but I need everyone to trust me. Maya turned to Dr. Chong. Lisa, can you connect our ship's computer to the crystal network? Theoretically, yes. But why? The terraforms understand energy and crystals, but they don't understand space tactics. Our computer has battle simulations, strategic programs, targeting systems. If we can share that knowledge with them. You want to turn the planet into a warship, Jake said slowly. Not a warship, a fortress, one that can defend itself. Dr. Chong was already working on her equipment. I can create a connection, but it will take time. Time we don't have. Boulder, can your people buy us some time? Maya asked. Boulder touched the crystal, and the response came immediately. Every crystal on the planet began to glow brighter. The energy that had been building up was released. In a coordinated burst, beams of light shot up from the planet's surface, not attacking the hegemony ships, but creating a barrier of energy around the planet. The beams interlaced and wove together, forming a glowing net that surrounded the entire world. Incredible, Dr. Chong breathed. They've created a planetary defense grid. The hegemony ships fired their weapons, but the energy beams struck the shield and scattered harmlessly into space. The planet was protected, but Maya knew the shield wouldn't hold forever. Connection established, Dr. Chong announced. Our computer is now linked to the crystal network. Maya felt the change immediately. Human knowledge began flowing through. The terraform network, battle tactics, weapon designs, strategic thinking. The terraforms absorbed it all, learning centuries of human warfare in minutes. This is impossible, came Zethkar's voice over the communication system. Rock creatures cannot possess such advanced defenses. They're learning, Maya replied. And they're much smarter than you thought. The planetary shield was holding, but Maya could feel the strain it was putting on the terraforms. They were using enormous amounts of energy to maintain it. They needed a new strategy. Through the network, Maya shared an idea with Boulder and the other terraforms. Instead of just defending, they could attack. But not with weapons, with the planet itself. Boulder, can your people control the planet's gravity? Maya asked. Boulder made a sound like consideration. The creature touched the crystal and listened to the response from across the planet. Then it made a sound that meant maybe, and dangerous, and will try. The terraforms began working together in a way they never had before. Deep underground, they connected with the planet's core, touching the massive forces that held the world. Together, Maya felt the planet's heartbeat change as the terraforms took control of gravitational fields. Maya, what are they doing? Jake asked. The gravity readings are going crazy. They're turning the planet into a weapon, Maya said. Not to destroy the ships, but to trap them. The effect was gradual at first. The hegemony ships found their engines working harder to maintain orbit. Then the gravitational pull became stronger, dragging the ships closer to the planet. What is happening to our ships? Zethkar demanded. Report. Unknown gravitational anomaly, came a reply from one of his officers. The planet's gravity is increasing. We're being pulled toward the surface. Impossible. Planets cannot change their gravitational fields. This one can, Maya said. The terraforms are connected to every part of this world, including its core. They're making the planet heavier, creating stronger gravity fields. The hegemony ships tried to escape, but their engines weren't powerful enough to break free. One by one, they were dragged down toward the planet's surface. "Stop this immediately," Zethkar ordered, "or we will destroy your planet from close range." "You can try," Maya said, "but I don't think you understand what you're dealing with." As the ships came closer to the surface, the terraforms revealed their next surprise. The planet's crust began to change, opening up like a flower. Massive crystal formations emerged from underground, reaching up toward the trapped ships. "They're beautiful," Dr. Chong whispered. "The crystals weren't weapons. They were hands. Giant, gentle hands made of living stone and light. They reached out and carefully grasped the hegemony ships, holding them like precious objects. "Our ships are being captured," an officer reported to Zethkar. "The crystal formations are somehow restraining our vessels without damaging them." Maya felt the terraforms' emotions through the network. They didn't want to hurt anyone, even their enemies. They just wanted to protect their home and their human friends. "Zethkar," Maya said, "the terraforms don't want to fight. They just want you to leave them alone. If you promise to go away and never come back, they'll let your ships go." "Unacceptable," Zethkar replied. "The hegemony does not negotiate with primitive species." "Primitive?" Maya laughed. "They just captured your entire fleet without firing a shot. How primitive is that?" Through the network, Maya could feel the terraforms making a decision. They had tried to be peaceful, tried to find a solution that didn't hurt anyone. But Zethkar wouldn't listen. Boulder made a sound like regret. Then the creature touched the crystal, and Maya felt a new message traveling through the network. It was time to show the hegemony exactly how powerful the terraforms could be. The crystal formations holding the ships began to change. Instead of just restraining the vessels, they started to integrate with them. Crystal growths spread across the ship hulls, connecting with their power systems and computers. "What are you doing to our ships?" Zethkar shouted. "The terraforms are taking control," Maya explained. "They're connecting with your computer systems, learning about your technology. They're also making sure your weapons can't fire. This is an act of war. No, this is self-defense. You came here to destroy this planet and enslave its people. The terraforms are just protecting themselves." Maya felt something new flowing through the network, knowledge from the hegemony ships. The terraforms were learning about space travel, about other worlds, about the galaxy beyond their home planet. They learned made them angry. "Boulder," Maya said, "what is it? What did your people find?" Boulder made a sound like. The alien ships arrived like a storm cloud, blocking out the sun. Maya stood next to Boulder, watching as massive vessels descended from the sky. Each ship was the size of a city, covered in weapons that could level mountains. "How many are there?" Maya asked Captain Morrison. Jake was looking at his scanner with a grim expression. 15 ships, maybe more coming behind them. This is a full invasion force." Dr. Chong was working frantically at her equipment. "I'm detecting energy signatures from thousands of smaller ships inside the big ones. They're carrying an entire army." Boulder made a sound like grinding stone. Maya had learned to recognize this as Boulder's expression of anger. The creature was staring at the ships with glowing eyes. "Easy, Boulder," Maya said, placing her hand on the creature's leg. "We need to be smart about this." The largest ship settled into the atmosphere above their camp. A beam of light shot down from it, and suddenly a voice filled the air. It spoke in a language Maya didn't understand, but the ship's computer translated it into English. "Attention, primitive beings. You are now under the authority of the hegemony. Surrender immediately or face destruction. Commander Peters grabbed his weapon. Captain, we need to evacuate. Get everyone to the shuttle. Wait, Maya said. Let me try something first. She walked to the camp's communication system and activated it. This is Maya Johnson of the Earthship USS Endeavour. We're peaceful explorers. We don't want any trouble. The response came quickly. The voice was cold and mechanical. I am War Commander Zethkar of the Hegemony 4th Fleet. Your presence here is irrelevant. This planet contains resources we require. You have 24 hours to leave this system. What? About the native life forms? Maya asked. The rock creatures will be processed for slave labor. Their ability to manipulate crystalline structures makes them valuable workers. Maya felt Boulder tense beside her. The creature made a sound like a mountain falling down. Other sounds answered from all across the planet. The calls of thousands of terraforms responding to Boulder's distress. They're not rocks, Maya said into the communicator. They're intelligent beings. They have rights. Zethkar's laugh was harsh. Rights? They are resources, nothing more. As are you, if you choose to stay. Human slaves are also valuable in certain markets. The communication ended with a sharp click. Maya looked at her crewmates, who were all staring at her with worried faces. Well? Jake said, that went about as well as expected. We can't leave, Maya said. These are Boulder's people. They're not equipped to fight a space fleet. Neither are we, Ryan pointed out. We have one ship with basic weapons. They have 15 warships. Maya looked at Boulder, who was making soft sounds to the crystals around the camp. The crystals were glowing brighter in response, and Maya could feel vibrations in the ground. What's Boulder doing? Dr. Chang asked. I think he's talking to the others, Maya said. The terraforms are having a meeting. The vibrations continued for an hour. Maya could sense messages traveling back and forth across the planet through the crystal network. Boulder would touch a crystal, wait for a response, then touch another one. It was like watching someone have a conversation on a very slow telephone. Finally, Boulder turned to Maya and made a series of sounds. Maya had spent weeks learning Boulder's language, and she understood most of it. Boulder says his people want to fight, Maya translated, but they don't know how to fight in space. They've never had to defend themselves from sky enemies. What can we do? Jake asked. We're not exactly equipped for a space battle either. Maya looked at the hegemony ships hovering above them. Maybe we don't have to fight them in space. Boulder, can you people control the crystals all over the planet? Boulder made a sound that meant yes and always. What if we made the planet itself a weapon? Dr. Chang looked interested. What do you mean? The crystals store and transmit energy. What if we could use them to create some kind of defense system? Something that could reach the ships in orbit? Boulder's eyes lit up. The creature made excited sounds and began touching multiple crystals at once. The response from across the planet was immediate. Thousands of crystal formations began glowing, creating a network of light that was visible even in daylight. Maya, this is incredible, Dr. Chang said, watching her scanners. The energy levels are off the charts. The entire planet is becoming one giant circuit. Circuit for what? Ryan asked. Before Maya could answer, the ground began to shake. Not like an earthquake, but like the planet itself was waking up. The crystal formations around their camp grew taller and brighter. New crystals began emerging from the ground. Boulder made a sound like celebration. Maya understood. The terraforms were getting ready to protect their home, but their preparations were interrupted by a new transmission from the hegemony ships. Attention, humans. We detect unusual energy buildups on the planet's surface. You will cease all activities immediately or face immediate destruction. Maya grabbed the communicator. We're not doing anything wrong. We're just trying to understand the planet. You are interfering with our acquisition of resources. This is your final warning." The transmission ended, and Maya saw weapon ports opening on the hegemony ships. Energy was building up in the ship's main guns. "They're going to fire, Jake." "Side, everyone take cover." Beams of pure energy shot down from the ships, targeting the largest crystal formations around the human camp. The beams hit the crystals and exploded in brilliant flashes of light. But when the light faded, the crystals were still standing. They were glowing even brighter than before, and the energy from the hegemony weapons seemed to be flowing into them. "What just happened?" Ryan asked. Dr. Chong was staring at her scanner in amazement. "The crystals absorbed the energy from the weapons. They're using it to power their own systems." Boulder made a sound like laughter. The creature was looking up at the hegemony ships with what Maya could only describe as amusement. "You absorbed their attack," Maya said to Boulder. "That's amazing." More energy beams shot down from the ships, but the same thing happened. The crystals absorbed the energy and grew brighter. Soon the entire planet was glowing like a star. The hegemony ships stopped firing. Maya could imagine the confusion on their bridges. Their most powerful weapons were only making their target stronger. "War Commander Zethkar," Maya said into the communicator. "Maybe we should talk. What trickery is this?" Zethkar's voice was angry. "How are you deflecting our weapons?" "We're not deflecting them. We're absorbing them. The terraforms are connected to the planet's energy systems. Every time you attack, you just make them stronger." "Impossible. Rock creatures cannot possess such technology. They're not just rock creatures. They're part of the planet itself. And you just made them very angry." As if to prove Maya's point, the crystals around the planet began to pulse in unison. The energy they had absorbed from the hegemony weapons was being focused and redirected. Beams of blue light shot up from the planet's surface, striking the hegemony ships. The beams didn't seem to damage the ships, but they interfered with their systems. Maya could see the ship's lights flickering as their computers struggled to function. "What are you doing to our ships?" Zethkar demanded. "The terraforms are disrupting your electronics," Maya explained. "They're not trying to destroy you, just stop you from attacking. This is unacceptable. We will deploy ground forces to eliminate the source of this interference." "I wouldn't do that if I were you," Maya said. "The terraforms are peaceful, but they will defend themselves. And there are a lot more of them than you might think." Through the crystal network, Maya could sense terraforms all over the planet. They were moving, gathering together, preparing for battle. Boulder's people had never been warriors, but they were about to become them. "You have 1 hour to cease this interference," Zethkar announced. "If you do not comply, we will gloss the entire planet from orbit." "Gloss the planet?" Maya asked. Dr. Chong looked pale. "It means they'll use their weapons to melt the surface. Turn everything into glass. Nothing could survive that." Maya looked at Boulder, who was listening to the conversation through the crystal network. The creature made a sound like sadness mixed with determination. "Boulder, what are your people going to do?" Boulder touched a crystal and listened to the response. Then he turned to Maya and made a series of sounds that she had never heard before, but somehow she understood them perfectly. "They're going to fight," Maya said. "All of them. The entire planet is going to fight. Against a space fleet?" Jake asked. "How?" Boulder made another sound, and Maya felt the vibration travel through the ground to every crystal on the planet. The response was immediate and overwhelming. The planet itself seemed to be singing as thousands of terraforms added their voices to the call. "I don't know how," Maya said, "but I think we're about to find out." The hegemony ships were repositioning themselves in orbit, preparing for the bombardment that would destroy all life on the planet. But below them, An entire world was awakening to defend itself. Boulder looked at Maya and made a sound like gratitude. The creature was thanking her for helping its people, for giving them a chance to fight back. "We're in this together," Maya said. "Whatever happens, we're family now." Boulder made a sound like agreement. Then the creature turned toward the sky and began to sing. It was a song of challenge, of defiance, of a... 3 weeks had passed since Maya found Boulder trapped under the rocks. The giant creature had become part of their daily life at the camp. Every morning, Maya would wake up to find Boulder sitting nearby, watching over the human settlement. Like a guardian, Dr. Chong spent hours studying Boulder, but she was careful to keep her distance. The creature seemed to trust only Maya completely. When other crew members came too close, Boulder would make soft rumbling sounds that meant, "Please stay back." "It's incredible," Lisa told Captain Morrison as they watched Maya and Boulder working together. Maya was showing Boulder how to use human tools, and Boulder was teaching Maya how to make the crystals glow brighter. "The creature learns fast," Jake said. "Too fast for comfort." Maya had discovered that Boulder could understand basic human words. When she said, "Come," Boulder would follow her. When she said, "Stay," Boulder would sit and wait. But more importantly, Boulder was teaching Maya things too. The creature showed her how to touch the crystals in a certain way to make them vibrate. When Maya did it right, she could feel the vibrations travel through the ground to other crystals far away. It was like the whole planet was connected by invisible wires. "Boulder, show me again," Maya said one morning. She was sitting on a flat rock with her hand on a small crystal. Boulder placed its massive stone hand over hers. The crystal began to glow, and Maya felt the vibration travel through the ground. But this time, something else happened. For just a moment, Maya could sense other creatures like Boulder scattered across the planet. They were all connected, sharing thoughts and feelings through the crystal network. "There are more of you," Maya whispered. "Lots more." Boulder made a sound like wind blowing through mountains. Maya was starting to understand these sounds. This one meant yes and family and home all at once. Commander Peters watched from across the camp. He still didn't trust Boulder, even though the creature had never shown any sign of aggression. "Captain, I don't like this. That thing is getting too close to our people." "Maya seems to have everything under control," Jake replied. "And Dr. Chong says the creature might be the key to understanding this planet. What if it's reporting back to others of its kind? What if they're planning something?" Jake looked at Boulder, who was gently helping Maya move a piece of equipment. "If they wanted to hurt us, Ryan, they could have done it by now. Look at the size of that thing. It could crush our entire camp without breaking a sweat." But Boulder was more interested in helping than hurting. When Maya needed to reach something high up, Boulder would carefully lift her to the right height. When heavy equipment needed to be moved, Boulder could carry things that would take 10 humans to lift. The creature was also curious about human technology. Maya showed Boulder how their computers worked, and Boulder showed Maya how the crystals stored and transmitted information. They were learning from each other. One day, Maya was working on the camp's power system when Boulder started making urgent sounds. The creature was looking toward the forest, its eyes glowing brighter than usual. "What's wrong?" Maya asked. Boulder pointed toward the trees with one massive finger. Maya looked, but didn't see anything unusual. Then she heard it, a low, growling sound coming from the forest. Everyone inside the shelters. Commander Peters shouted, "No!" A pack of creatures emerged from the trees. They looked like wolves, but they were twice as big and had scales instead of fur. Their eyes glowed red, and their teeth were as long as knives. The pack surrounded the camp, growling and snapping at the humans. Maya counted 6 of them, all looking hungry and dangerous. "They're called scalehounds," Dr. Chang said from inside her shelter. "I've been tracking them for weeks. They're the top predators on this planet." Boulder stood up to its full height and stepped between the scalehounds and the human camp. The creature made a sound like thunder rolling across the sky. The scalehound stopped growling and looked up at Boulder. For a moment, nobody moved. Then the biggest scalehound snarled and leaped at Boulder. The stone creature caught the predator in midair and gently set it down away from the camp. Boulder wasn't trying to hurt the scalehound, just keep it away from the humans. But the scalehounds didn't understand. They saw Boulder as a threat to their hunting ground. The whole pack attacked at once, jumping and clawing at the stone creature. Boulder tried to defend itself without causing harm, but the scalehounds were fast and vicious. One of them got past Boulder and ran straight at Maya's shelter. Maya didn't. Think. She grabbed a laser cutter and stepped outside. "Hey, over here." The scalehound turned toward her, its red eyes gleaming. It crouched low, ready to spring, but Boulder was faster. The creature moved like a landslide, putting itself between Maya and the predator. The scalehound's claws scraped against Boulder's stone skin, but couldn't do any damage. Boulder made a sound Maya never heard before. It was deep and powerful, like the planet itself was angry. The ground shook, and the crystals around the camp blazed with light. The scalehounds stopped attacking. They looked around at the glowing crystals and the shaking ground. Then they looked at Boulder, who was standing protectively over Maya. The biggest scalehound made a whimpering sound and backed away. The rest of the pack followed, disappearing into the forest as quickly as they had come. Boulder looked down at Maya and made a soft sound. Maya could feel the creature's concern and relief. "Thank you," Maya said, putting her hand on Boulder's leg. "You saved my life." From that day on, nobody questioned Boulder's place in the camp. The creature had proven it would protect the humans, even from the planet's most dangerous predators. Dr. Chang was fascinated by what had happened. The way Boulder controlled the crystals and the ground vibrations. It's like the creature has a direct connection to the planet's geological systems. "What does that mean?" Maya asked. "It means your friend might be more powerful than we thought." "The terraforms, that's what I'm calling Boulder's species. They're not just living on this planet. They're part of it." Maya looked at Boulder, who was back to his usual calm self. "How many of them are there?" "Based on the energy readings, I'd say thousands. Maybe tens of thousands. They're spread across the entire planet, all connected through the crystal network." "Are they all as friendly as Boulder?" Dr. Chang shrugged. "I don't know. But if they wanted to hurt us, they would have done it already. The fact that Boulder chose to protect us means something." That night, Maya sat with Boulder under the stars. The creature was making soft sounds, like it was singing a lullaby. Maya was starting to understand more of Boulder's language. This sound meant peace and friendship and home. "You're not just protecting me, are you?" Maya asked. "You're protecting all of us." Boulder made another sound, the one that meant yes and always. Maya smiled. "We're lucky to have you as a friend." But their peaceful moment was interrupted by an alarm from the camp's communication system. Captain Morrison came running out of his tent, holding a message tablet. "We're receiving a transmission from long-range sensors," Jake announced. "Multiple ships are approaching this system, big ones." Maya felt Boulder tense beside her. The creature was looking up at the stars, its eyes glowing brighter. "What kind of ships?" Maya asked. Jake's face was grim. "Unknown design. But they're heavily armed and moving fast. They'll be here in less than 2 days." Maya looked at Boulder, who was making worried sounds. For the first time since she had met the creature, Boulder seemed afraid. "What's wrong?" Maya asked. Boulder pointed at the sky and made a sound like breaking stone. Maya didn't need to understand. Boulder's language to know what that meant. Danger was coming. Dr. Chong was already working on her scanner, trying to get more information about the approaching ships. Captain, I'm detecting the same energy signatures from the ships that we found in the hegemony database. These aren't explorers or traders. What are they? Jake asked. Conquerors. They're here to take this planet. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. She looked at Boulder, who was still staring at the stars. The creature had saved her life and protected their camp. Now it was Maya's turn to protect Boulder. We need to warn the other terraforms, Maya said. If the hegemony is coming, Boulder's? People need to know. Boulder made a sound like agreement. The creature stood up and walked over to the largest crystal formation near their camp. It placed both hands on the crystal, and the entire formation began to glow. The vibration that followed was stronger than anything Maya had felt before. It traveled through the ground and spread across the planet like a wave. Somewhere in the distance, other crystals began to glow in response. What's happening? Commander Peters asked. Maya watched Boulder, who was still connected to the crystal. Boulder's calling for help. The terraforms are talking to each other. About what? Maya looked up at the stars, where alien ships were racing toward their peaceful planet, about how to protect their home. The message was spreading across the planet, carried by the crystal network from one terraform to another. Boulder's people were waking up, and they were ready to fight. But Maya wondered if it would be enough. The hegemony was powerful, with weapons that could destroy entire planets. Boulder was strong, but could the terraforms really stand against a space fleet? She was about to find out. The USS Endeavour cut through the darkness of space like a silver needle. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge, watching the stars stream past on the main screen. His crew had been traveling for 6 months, heading toward a planet that could save Earth from its energy problems. Captain, we're getting close to Kepler 442b, said Commander Ryan Peters from his station. Ryan was a tall man with gray hair who had served in the military for 20 years. He kept the ship safe and made sure everyone followed the rules. Jake nodded and walked over to look at the readings. The planet was getting bigger on their screens. It looked green and blue, with white clouds swirling around it. Any signs of life down there, Lisa? Dr. Lisa Chong looked up from her computer. She was the ship's expert on alien life forms. Her job was to study any new creatures they might find. The scans show plant life everywhere. Thick forests, mountains, and some strange crystal formations. But I'm not seeing any cities or buildings. What about those energy readings we picked? Up? Jake asked. Lisa frowned as she checked her data again. That's the weird part. The energy is moving around. It's not coming from machines or power plants. It's almost like it's alive. Maya Johnson was working at the engineering station, fixing a problem with the ship's main computer. She was young, maybe 25, with dark hair tied back in a ponytail. Maya could fix anything that broke on the ship. She was also curious about everything, sometimes getting into trouble because she wanted to explore. Captain, Maya said, looking up from her work. The energy patterns are really interesting. They're not random. There's a rhythm to them, like a heartbeat. Jake walked over to Maya's station. Show me what you mean. Maya pulled up a chart on her screen. Lines of energy moved across it in. Waves. See how they pulse? And look at this. When one energy source gets stronger, the others respond. It's like they're talking to each other. That's impossible, Ryan said. Energy doesn't talk. It's just energy. Maybe on Earth, Maya replied. But we're not on Earth anymore. Dr. Chong stood up and joined them. Maya might be right. If these energy sources are alive, they could be some kind of life form we've never seen before. We need to be very careful when we land. Jake made his decision. We'll set up a base camp. in that clearing near the forest. Lisa, I want you to study these energy readings. Maya, get the landing shuttle ready. Ryan, pick a team for security. 2 hours later, the shuttle dropped through the planet's atmosphere. Maya was flying it, with Dr. Chong sitting next to her. Behind them sat Ryan and 3 other crew members, all carrying weapons and equipment. The planet was beautiful. Tall trees with purple leaves reached toward the sky. Strange flowers and colors Maya had never seen grew everywhere. The air smelled sweet and clean. Mountains rose in the distance, their peaks covered in what looked like glowing crystals. Look at those formations, Lisa said, pointing at the crystals. They're giving off the same energy readings we detected from space. Maya landed the shuttle in a flat area surrounded by trees. The crew got out and started setting up their camp. They put up tents, unpacked their equipment, and began exploring the area around their landing site. The first few days were quiet. The crew found many new plants and small animals. Lisa was excited about everything she discovered. Maya helped set up the camp's power systems and communication equipment. Ryan made sure the area was safe, but Maya kept thinking about the energy readings. She wanted to see the crystal formations up close. On the 4th day, she decided to go exploring on her own. I'm going to check the equipment on the hill, she told Ryan. It wasn't exactly a lie. There was equipment up there, but Maya really wanted to get a better look at the crystals. She climbed up the hillside, carrying her tools and a small scanner. The crystals were even more amazing up close. They were tall as trees, glowing with soft blue light. When Maya touched one, it felt warm and smooth. Her scanner was going crazy. The energy readings were much stronger here, but there was something else. The crystals seemed to be responding to her presence. Their light got brighter. When she moved closer, Maya was so focused on the crystals that she didn't notice the ground shaking until it was too late. A deep rumble came from underground, and rocks started falling from the cliff above. She ran for cover, but a big boulder came crashing down and landed right in front of her. Then she heard something else, a sound like a mountain crying out into pain. Maya looked around the fallen rocks and saw something that made her heart stop. A creature was trapped under a pile of stones. It was huge, maybe as big as a truck, and it looked like it was made of living rock. Veins of blue light ran through its body, pulsing like a heartbeat. The creature saw Maya and made a soft sound. It didn't try to attack her or scare her away. Instead, it seemed to be asking for help. Maya knew she should go back to camp and get the others. But the creature was hurt, and she could see that some of the rocks were pressing down on what looked like its leg. If she waited, it might die. She opened her toolkit and pulled out a small laser cutter. Working carefully, she began cutting through the smaller rocks. The creature watched her with eyes that glowed like the crystals around them. It's okay, Maya said softly, even though she didn't know if it could understand her. I'm going to help you. It took her 2 hours to free the creature. When the last rock fell away, the creature slowly stood up. It was even bigger than Maya had thought, but it moved gently, being careful not to step on her. The creature looked at Maya for a long moment. Then it made a sound like rocks grinding together, but softer. It reached out with what looked like a hand made of stone and gently touched Maya's arm. Maya felt something strange. The touch was warm, and for just a second, she could feel what the creature was feeling. It was grateful. It was also curious about her, wondering why she had helped. You're welcome, Maya said. The creature stepped back and looked at her again. Then it did something Maya didn't expect. It followed her as she started walking back toward the camp. No, you can't come with me, Maya said, turning around. My friends might be scared of you. But the creature kept following, staying a safe distance behind. It was like a giant dog that had decided Maya was its owner. Maya tried to lose it by taking a different path, but the creature always knew where she was going. Finally, she gave up and headed straight back to Camp Dot when she walked into the clearing with the creature behind her. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Ryan grabbed his weapon. Lisa dropped her equipment. The other crew members started shouting. "Stay back," Ryan yelled. "Don't move." But Maya stepped between them and the creature. "It's okay. It's friendly. I helped it when it was trapped." The creature sat down behind Maya, making itself as small as possible. It made soft sounds, like it was trying to show it wasn't dangerous. Dr. Chong slowly approached, her scanner in her hands. "Maya, this is incredible. The energy readings are off the charts. This creature's connected to the planet itself." "Connected how?" Jake asked, keeping his distance. "I'm not sure yet, but look at this." Lisa pointed to her scanner. The energy patterns from the crystals are matching the creature's heartbeat. It's like they're part of the same system. Maya turned to look at the creature. It was watching her with intelligent eyes. "I think it's trying to communicate with us." "Communicate?" Ryan said. "It's a rock monster." "No," Maya said firmly. "It's alive. It's smart. And it saved my life when more rocks started falling." The creature made another sound, and the crystals around their camp started glowing brighter. Everyone could feel a vibration in the ground, like a message being sent through the earth. "Amazing," Dr. Chong whispered. "It's not just one creature. It's part of a network. Maya, I think you've made first contact with an entirely new form of life." Maya looked at the creature and smiled. "Hello there. I'm Maya. What should I call you?" The creature touched the ground with its hand, and the vibration changed. It felt solid and strong, like a mountain. "Boulder," Maya said. "I'll call you Boulder." The creature made a sound that almost sounded like approval. Then it settled down next to Maya's tent, like it had decided to stay. Jake shook his head. "Maya, what have you gotten us into?" Maya looked at Boulder, then at her captain. "I think we're about to find out."